Now it is the final countdown in the run-up to the G7 summit in Japan's Hiroshima. Leaders of the group of 7 countries have arrived in the host nation. Among the key issues are China's chip and technology development and the Russia-Ukraine war. US President Joe Biden arrived in Japan for the G7 nations meeting amid heavy rainfall. The Air Force One touched down at the US Marine Corps base at Iwakuni, just south of Hiroshima, where G7 leaders will meet for the next 2 days. Now, Joe Biden was welcomed by Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Prime Minister Kishida held talks with US President to confirm the Japan-US alliance on security and economic issues. This was ahead of the G7 summit in the city. Affirmed Japan-US unity, Biden said that they would work together to address challenges such as Russia's aggression in Ukraine and strengthen the Indo-Pacific partnership. The Japanese Prime Minister also held bilateral meetings with his Italian counterpart, Giorgia Meloni, ahead of the G7 summit. During the high-level meeting, Meloni said that Italy and Japan are regional powers and that must exercise their role of responsibility. The two leaders agreed to deepen ties as Italy will take over the G7 presidency from Japan in 2024.
E ovviamente, come tu hai ricordato, essendo l'Italia il prossimo presidente, è fondamentale ancora di più che la nostra cooperazione sia molto stretta.
Now, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his wife Akshata Murthy arrived in Tokyo this morning. As per the UK government, Sunak is set to sign a historic Hiroshima Accord with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida ahead of the G7 summit. Sunak will also visit a naval base and confirm new UK-Japan defence cooperation. Now, meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau arrived in Japan for a meeting of G7 nations amid geopolitical tensions. Trudeau met with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol in Seoul before arriving in Hiroshima for the G7 meeting. He pledged to partner with Japan on critical minerals and security. And after joining hands with European nations on register of damages for Ukraine, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz arrived in Japan for a meeting of G7 nations. Founded in 1975, G7 nations come together to influence global trends and also discuss emerging global crises. This year, leader members nations are set to discuss key issues: Russia's aggression in Ukraine, Indo-Pacific, nuclear disarmament, and non-proliferation. Achieving the net zero emissions by 2050 is also on the cards.